Thank you so much for your time. Do you mind if I start with a personal question? I was wondering what teenagers say to you. What do Palestinian 15, 16, 17-year-olds, those who are old enough to be politically aware and who are going to take on the mantle of your generation, of my generation, the ones who will then have to negotiate and live with Israel, what do those people say to you?
They say two things. First of all, that the world did not leave any hope for them, and they look into the future and they see a hopeless situation. And they see that the personal and the general national perspective is gloomy because the world turned their back. The world in general turned its back to them. That is a general feeling, of course. And the second thing, they say that Israel understands only the language of force. And of course, one very important thing that they keep saying is that where did the Oslo process lead us? Where did all these negotiations, what did they bring us? Nothing. Big fat zero. And that's why they believe that Palestinians have to resist and have to struggle for their rights. Of course, many think in different ways, but the main message is that we want to be like everybody else. And the young people in Palestine know and see how other people live in other countries. They're not isolated. And they want the same freedom, they want the same dignity, they want the same rights, and they want a future for themselves and for their families.
I wonder if they're encouraged when they see pictures like we're showing while you talk to us. That pro-Palestine rally that we're showing is in Tunisia. There's one happening right now also in the British capital, London. We've seen many similar demonstrations right across the world over the past week and a half. But regarding what's happening right now with the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, with those 20 aid trucks coming in, the Israelis have not allowed any fuel to come in. And we know that 7 hospitals in Gaza are not working at all anymore. The others have very, very, very little left, so much so that some doctors are not even taking the elevators anymore. The electricity is needed for more vital functions. When that humanitarian crisis is unfolding, and an Israeli army spokesman, just about half an hour or so ago, says the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip is under control, surely that shows that Israel doesn't know what's happening in Gaza.
No, they know, but they want this to be that way. They want not a solution to the humanitarian crisis. They want a deepening of the humanitarian crisis. Israel knows, and the Americans know, and everybody knows, and especially some Europeans, which we have heard today in the conference in Egypt, calling for the continuation of war, like the German foreign minister. I mean, this is totally unacceptable. They all know that 20 trucks are nothing. They are a drop in the ocean. And to clarify that, let me tell you that Gaza usually gets 500 trucks every day that carries fuel, that carries food, that carries medications and medicines, and that carries water. 20 out of 500, what will that mean? And add to that the fact that for 14 days, no trucks entered Gaza. So you are talking about already a shortage of 7,000 trucks. So imagine 20 instead of 500 daily and 20 only while we need 7,000. This will not solve any problem. And to add insult to injury, they did not allow any fuel to come in. That means hospitals will not have electricity. That means patients in need for kidney dialysis will die. That means patients in incubators will die. That means surgical operating rooms could stop working. That means they cannot sterilize their equipment. This is a savagery behavior, unacceptable. And I think that the 20 trucks that came in are only a cover of the crime that is taking place, which is a crime of collective punishment, in addition to the 2 other crimes, which are the crime of ethnic cleansing and the crime of genocide that is practiced against the population of Gaza.
You've already indicated you appear to be disappointed with what you're hearing from that peace summit in Cairo. It doesn't appear that there's much new being offered by anybody.
Well, I have to be fair and say that we are absolutely impressed and respectful of the very strong positions of countries like Egypt and Jordan, who were absolutely clear about what is needed and about the reality of the situation. Of course, we appreciate the position of Turkey and many other friendly countries. But the real speech that showed the way is the speech of the Egyptian and Jordanian leaders, because it said the war must stop immediately. It said that we will not accept ethnic cleansing. We will not allow Israel to transfer Palestinians to Egypt or to Jordan or any other place, and that the world cannot ignore the humanitarian suffering of the Palestinian people and their political rights, and that the world actually, especially the United States, has been responsible for blocking any progress towards a peaceful resolution of this situation. That is the reality.
Many of the leaders have been mentioning a two-state solution. Do you think there's even any point in talking about that possible eventual outcome while Benjamin Netanyahu leads the country's most far-right coalition the country has ever had? Why are people looking so far ahead when the crisis needs to be resolved right now? If there's to be any two-state solution, presumably it can't happen for years.
Well, first of all, let me say that, of course, the immediate need is immediate ceasefire. And the immediate need is to stop this terrible situation in Gaza, opening the passage of Rafah, allowing all the trucks to come in, not just those which are standing there, but allowing a normal flow of material into Gaza. That is one thing. But stopping the war immediately is very important, because with the passage of every 5 minutes, a Palestinian is killed. With the passage of 10 to 15 minutes, another Palestinian child is killed. And that is unacceptable. But of course, the two-state solution has become just a cliche behind which many countries hide to avoid their responsibility of saying to Israel, you have to end occupation. You have to end the system of apartheid that you are practicing against the Palestinian people. It's just a cliche. But I say that if you want really a true position that supports two-state solution, it should be combined with saying Israel must evict all illegal settlers from the occupied Palestinian territories so that a two-state solution can take place. Because with the presence of all these 750,000 illegal settlers in the West Bank, you cannot have two-state solution. It will be a continuation of a system of apartheid. And we say to the Israelis, you don't want two-state solution? Let's have one-state solution. But it will never be accepted by Palestinians to live in one apartheid state reality, because that is totally unacceptable. You want one democratic state, that means equal rights, national and civil rights for everybody, but not only exclusive for Israelis. But I know the reality is that the Israeli solution to the demographic problem, to sustaining occupation, is ethnic cleansing. That's what they tried to do now with Gaza, and they failed. They failed because of the heroism and steadfastness of the Palestinian people, but also because of the very strong position of both Egypt and Jordan. They could not conduct that. Now they're moving to plan B, which is to ethnically cleanse the northern and middle part of Gaza and cluster 2.3 million people in less than 80 square miles. That's the Israeli plan, hoping that this would lead to an explosion and people will flee to Egypt. Their goal is ethnic cleansing and not any solution. And they are encouraged by the United States of America. They are encouraged by European countries who continue to, not all European countries, of course. We distinguish between the Norwegian position, for instance, and the German position. But many European countries, as well as the United States, are supporting the continuation of the war, and that is unacceptable. The continuation of the war means the continuation of human suffering, not only for Palestinians, but also for Israelis.
Mustafa Barghouti, thank you very much for your time, sir.